We want to start by saying some very brief things to you. You create, an even better word is attract to yourself by virtue of your thoughts, which have a simultaneous feeling response. The way you feel when you think about something is your indicator of what your true point of attraction is. And that is all that matters to you. Your life experience is about what your point of attraction is. And your point of attraction is about what you think about. Some might say it's what you have been thinking about. We agree with that. We call that trending. But you have so much power in your now. And we're going to very briefly tell you why. You're in this physical body and you are magnificent. But before that, you were non-physical energy, considering and deciding to be here in this body. And while consciousness came into your body, some call that your soul, whoosh, splat. The largest part of you remains non-physically focused and is aware of you and your physical life experience. And that non-physical part of you, we refer to it as your inner being. It's the source of you. But the important thing for you to know is that that inner being of you is focused with you in every real-time moment of your life experience. And that's the reason that you feel emotion. When you feel love, that means your thought that you're focused upon is a vibrational match. It's calibrated to, it's in harmony with what your inner being is thinking about the same thing at the same time. But when you feel fear or rage, any of those negative emotions, that lets you know that you are having your own thought, and that's fine. It's even wonderful that you do. But the way you feel when you have that thought is an indicator of how in sync you are with your inner being, with your source, who we really want you to know is focused with you all the time. And so when you think about that inner being part of you focused with you, especially when you understand this next part we're going to tell you, your inner being, in its non-physical state of being, is resistance-free, which means hate-free, worry-free, anger-free, concern-free, resistance-free, focused upon what you want with no resistance. Now, the law of attraction is responding both to your inner being's thought and to your thought. That's why you can feel emotions, good feeling or not so good feeling. We just want to remind you this one really important thing. When you've taken the time to calibrate to your inner being, we'll talk about some of that here as we're together today. When you calibrate to your inner being, well, really, whether you do or not, your inner being's point of attraction is powerful, because your inner being's point of attraction has no resistance within it. So your inner being is focused upon what you want, and the cooperative components are being gathered on your behalf. We're not kidding you at all. So the more you want something, the more you've focused upon it, the more you've launched those rockets of desire, the more this vibrational reality, we gave it a name because we want you to accept it as the real reality that it is. That point of attraction is so powerful. And all cooperative components are being gathered for the fulfillment, for the manifestation of what you want. The question is, are you one of the cooperative components? If you're angry, you're not. If you feel angry, that's a clue. If you're afraid, that's another clue. If you're fitful, you're not lined up. When you're happy, when you're joyful, when you feel appreciation, you're in tune. And that's what we call deliberately calibrating to the power, really, to the power of alignment. It's a big thing. So that's what we wanted you to think about. Your point of attraction matters. And you can manage your point of attraction no matter what. No matter what. You just have to know what the laws of the universe are about, what your own emotional guidance system is about. All right, what do you want to talk about? There's a lot of trouble in this room. We're going to have a really good time. Let's start right here, second row.
Hi. I really love you. Like, you have just been everything to me.
Well, what you love is how you feel when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That's what you love. That's what love is.
I don't really know how to word it. Maybe you can help me a bit. But I always kind of felt like, because we can ask questions about ourselves, right?
There is nothing that's off limits.
Okay.
Just strap on. Hold on.
So I've always kind of felt like there's, I don't know, like there's always some type of always have spiritual encounters. It always seems like even if I have a mind to do one thing, something kind of just like guides me to another direction. Like I remember younger, like choking on something carried me across the room to push me over, or I don't know, like having a mind to move here, and then somebody comes into my existence and says, oh, no, don't do that, go over here.
That's the way it's supposed to be. You see, you are an extension of that source energy who has broad view. And when you are not in an attitude or a mood of resistance, then you receive it and you translate that vibrational offering into things like you are describing.
But what if, like, I feel like totally against it, or like I feel like I'm not in a place of where I can receive, but then I do receive anyway?
Well, what that means is your trending of acceptance of the goodness and the worthiness of you is more powerful, or at least was at that time, more powerful than any of the things that you've thrown on the physical trail since. Esther has been noting that about something that's going on around her these days, and she's noting that her trending of well-being is so strong that bumps aren't big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And what my last thing is like tongues. Like what I heard like on your audio, they say like you said something about tongues that was like 2 or 3 minutes. But I can do that too. But I don't really understand. Is it beneficial, or what is that?
This is what that's all about. So, and we're happy that we began this gathering as we did today. So, first accept your relationship with your inner being. We want to go back. We want to pick up something from your earlier question, and then we'll dovetail into that. It all fits together. This awareness that things are working out for you, that someone has your back, that you have clarity or assistance, good timing on things. We want you to know that your inner being, who is aware of you all of the time, knows where you are in your physicality in relationship to everything you want all the time, and is calling you on what we've come to call your path of most allowance, or your path of least resistance. It's the same path. And so it's important to know that there is always a clear path, just sometimes you can't see it as well. All right, on to this. We were explaining, comes up quite often, how is it that we are communicating with you all like this? We are offering blocks of thought. We are not speaking language into Esther's ear. We are receiving. We're receiving not from your words, although it helps with the continuity of what's going on here, but we're receiving your vibrational essence. Sometimes people will say, well, that was a really good answer, but I didn't hear the question so clearly. And that's because we're answering the question whether the person in the hot seat speaks it clearly or not. And your inner being is like that. And so We're offering to Esther blocks of thought, like radio signals. It's better to describe it as vibration or radio signals than it is words. And then at an unconscious level, she's receiving it and translating it into the physical word equivalent. We were visiting with a person many, many years ago, on the telephone, in fact, who was concerned because all of this was flowing through him. And we asked him how many languages did he speak? And he said 5, maybe 7 if you count the ones I'm not really good at. And we said, so you're receiving these blocks of thought and you're translating them at an unconscious level into all of the languages that are within your vocabulary. Esther, she makes it easy on you. She has 1 language, if you don't count Pig Latin. She practiced that a lot when she was young. And so it's that. You're receiving blocks of thought that you could translate in a comprehensible way. But it's not so important, because the important thing to know, well, it could be important if it matters to you. We don't mean it's not important, but we mean receiving the energy and feeling the impulse to express it in some way is a nice thing too. The important thing is that you're acknowledging that you are in the receptive mode of that energy. Good?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Really good. Yeah.